Welcome back into another video on the FBTC channel. We've got a special guest here today, guys. We welcome here Brandon Smith. Hey Brandon, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. Excited to talk about rugby with you. England against Italy. Is this going to be England's opportunity to win the Six Nations? That is the question.
That's the question. So I do think it's going to come all down to that last game, France versus Ireland. England have to win with 5 points, no matter what. They have to score 30 to 40 points to have even a chance. Because I think Ireland are going to come away with it. I think they just have that experience when Andy Farrell doing it with England before. So I'll just read through the teams with you. 1 Maka Villapola, 2 George, 3 Sinclair, 4 Otoji, 5 Hill, 6 Curry, 7 Under, 8 Villapola, 9 Youngs, 10 Farrell, 11 May, 12 Slade, 13 Jonathan Joseph, 14 Watson, 15 Furbert, 16 Dunn, 17 Gench, 18 Stewart, 19 Yules, 20 L, 21 Robson, 22 Lawrence, 23 Forley. You've probably seen it already. What's your opinion on that team?
It's a very strong team, and it's a team that should easily beat Italy. We'll get onto it in a bit, I'm sure. But, we spoke before coming live. There's a few people who've missed out on the squad completely, which baffle me. But, for England, they're going to look to dominate up front with that pack. That pack is big, it's powerful, it's physical. The likes of the Vunipola brothers will look to carry and get over the gain line to hopefully give the platform to the backs to play. So it's a very, very strong squad. Underhill is very good at the breakdown as well. So it's a strong squad. And if I was an England fan, which I'm not, I'm Welsh. If I was an England fan, I'd be very confident with this team.
Make sure you like and subscribe below, guys. And I think there are still a lot of injuries in the squad. There's no Ford, obviously. There's no Wilson. There's no Haley. There's quite a few injuries that I think people keep forgetting. And especially on the bench, especially in the backs on the bench, you're seeing a lot more youth. And I'm quite happy to see that. And players like Ollie Lawrence, that some Welsh fans from your part of the thing might not see, or Ollie Foley. And Ollie Lawrence has been ripping it up. He's been doing it since the World Cup, really. He's a bit like if a Manu Tuolangi centre, physical, but has a step on it, similar to Ollie Watkins, like we were speaking about earlier. I do think we have so much depth in this England team, not like we did 3 years ago. I think, just 4 years ago. But it's interesting to see. I do think this pack will be very interesting. I think they've got a really strong pack. And I don't think you'll see. I think having Slade at 12 is a bit different. I thought they might play Ollie Lawrence around the end, but they chose to go with JJ and Slade. But I do think whatever team you have, and this is Welsh have really, and this is both for England and Wales, they both have really good depth in this back row now.
Oh, I mean, the back row for us as Wales, Navidi, Wainwright, we've got names elude me, Tipuric. We've got so many names there that we could have there who make such a difference. But looking at England, I mean, as you said, the depth England have, you probably have one of the best leagues in the world in the Premiership. You've got the best team in Europe playing in there in Exeter. And, the depth that you've got and who you can call on and the experience as well. That's what this squad is, a lot of experience in this team. Looking at the centres, he's gone for experience. He's gone for players that he knows well. And that's what Eddie Jones tends to do. And on the whole, it gets results. So you have to back him in a way.
I do think there's someone that's not even in the squad and been absolutely phenomenal, Jack Willis. People keep forgetting about. But the one with this team, massive. If he goes for this in the Ultimate Nations Cup, is Furbank at fullback. Not been strong in the Premiership. There's been much better players in the Premiership that he could have gone for. There's even a guy that out in a derby, as a Leicester Tiger fan, Freddie Stewart at 19 out-muscled him as England fullback. He dominated in the air, and I think that where some Italy could really attack Furbank in the air.
Furbank is quite inexperienced as well. I think that's the thing to remember. He played against France at the beginning of the Six Nations and didn't look comfortable at all. No. And that's somewhere where Italy, as you said, putting a lot of high balls on him, pressuring him, not giving him time to have time to think about what he wants to do, but really being in his face, putting in some big hits on him, putting pressure on him. I do think the fact that there won't be a crowd there, I think that will play into England's hands, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, on the whole, England, very strong team and should get the job done pretty comfortably, I think.
And I think you would have been watching at fullback if Noel was still. I think you know where Watson is and Watson at fullback. That was, I think, Eddie Jones' always plan was, but he's obviously gone. But I think people like Slade, I think they're going to be tired, and when in the back end, they're going to be really tired. Because they're not going to have a rest, not really.
I think, although you say that, I think a lot of the boys who played for Exeter, momentum going into this game will be massive for them because they've played regularly, and that's something that we have seen at Wales. I think last weekend, a lot of our players were pretty rusty. Although we'd played 2 games in the Pro 14, a lot of them hadn't played. With Wales this weekend, Liam Williams starts against Scotland. He's only played 1 game in 8 months, so he's not match fit. But again, this England team, as I've said many times already, just there's depth that you guys have got, who you can pick, and the people who've missed out just shows that depth. And Italy, you compare the Italian bench to the English bench, and most of the English bench would start for Italy if they were Italian. I know. You just got to think of it like that. But yeah.
And there's not even some players that are not even in there that would be quality first players for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Comments from Greg here. I think we'll take away a win and maybe in the second half about the bench. But I do think they're going to go full out for that first 40, and they're going to try. They have the bench to do it as well with Forley and Lawrence and Earl and people that Earl will bring a massive impact. And Gabriel, the fly half, I think it is. Yeah. He looked a real talent. But the one problem, that's another area England could attack because he's only played like 4-5 games in the Pro 14 or something like that for international level is very inexperienced.
I think Italy's team though is in generally quite a weird space at the minute. They've got a lot of older players in there, and they've got a couple of youth coming through. I mean, the whole question about Italy being in the Six Nations is a whole other debate. But I do think that Italian rugby needs to think about how they realistically want to go forward over the next 10 years. Because, I don't know, I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think Italy have really improved that much? Because I think they show signs of improvement and then it all goes down again. They get a new coach and show signs of improvement and it all goes down again. So,
I think
what do you think?
I think he should be given another 4 years because he started to improve at the back end. And this is the thing this is the problem with international coaches. They don't get enough time.
Yeah.
And I do think if Connacht were given, they were slowly improving and they were not getting as fresh as they were at the moment with Mark Smith at charge. And I think the way Smith, you don't see a clear identity.
Yeah.
Smith at charge. I don't think at the moment where you saw a bit more clear identity when O'Shea was. But I think some of the players is in. I think they do not in that team. They do not have enough experience on that bench.
Yeah, I mean, the bench is just not that strong. I think Italy showed that they could create tries, but if Ireland had concentrated for 80 minutes, they could have easily nailed them. It was 2 tries at the end. The problem for Italy that I always notice is that come 60 minutes, they may be in the game, but one, they don't have the fitness. And because they're so tired, they start making mistakes. They start giving away penalties. A player goes to the bin, and then the bench comes on and it's not strong enough to compete. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Italy's in a weird spot at the minute. They got a lot of good young players, as Greg has said there. Garbisi looks like a really exciting player. Minozzi at fullback is a good player as well. And they've got a couple of decent players. Jake Pelledri, I like him as well. So, I just don't think they're going to be strong enough.
I think the thing is, he has got such good stats. And Pelledri sometimes carries that forward pack. He has the most, I think, in the World Cup last year, beat the most defenders in the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He is, but I don't know. Italy's in a weird spot at the minute. Yeah.
I do think there's another question all over the top about who should go. Georgia, they should have the promotion and relegation. I don't think will probably happen because they're going to need a big. That'll be financial stuff, and they'll lose. I think promotion and relegation could be an option if both sides want it.
That's the thing. Would Italy want it? Because Italy will get a lot more money for being in the Six Nations than being in the European Championship, because Georgia win that every year. And then I don't know if you watched the Scotland Georgia game, but I wasn't impressed by Georgia. But you got to remember that Georgia hadn't played a team. They hadn't played at all. Because those who had been called up to the national team had been told to self-isolate. So they'd not played rugby at all since February, March time when the league was suspended. So they weren't that great. But in World Cups, they've shown when they've had time together and been playing consistently that they can perform. I would love to see it happen, but I don't think it will.
There were a couple of Georgian players. I know Matt Willie plays for Leicester. Seen him a couple of times. He's looked okay. Hasn't looked anything great. But I've seen the winger did look good. That's one spark against Georgia. I like that winger. Can't remember his name, but he looked really good on the wing. But overall, Italy have to now start. I think they're starting to bring youth through, and I think that's what they got. They got to let. Okay, when fans allowed back in Italy, let Prese's last game and just forget about it. Because it keeps coming up in the media, and just bring people like. But I think they do have a good back row for this game against England. Negri, Stain, and Pellegrini do offer. They're in the right positions now and offer each of them a different type of style. And especially with Mabanda on the bench, I think he's a really good. I think some of these players should, if they're not, they need to try and get some of these people more try and get them in the Premiership because they're getting beaten like zebra players in the Premiership, and that'll bring a high standard because I think that's close. Because you don't always see, and this is the thing with Pro 14, you don't really get the full team in the Pro 14, but in the Premiership, it's week in, week out, the same.
Yeah.
But they can, when international play, they play.
Well, it's like you look at, as you said, the Pro 14. You look at Leinster. Leinster are going to win the league without doubt this season. Nobody's going to stop them. It's just not going to happen. Deborah played against Leinster this past weekend, and Leinster would probably put out their C team. Zebra were missing one or two players for international duty, maybe two or three. They lost 63-5. They got absolutely hammered. And so Zebra are, I'm going to say it, are rubbish. They're very, very bad. But Benetton are an interesting team. They've really developed over the past few years. And although they've lost their opening 3 games, they've potentially faced 3 of the toughest teams in the whole league in Leinster, Ulster and Scarlets and shown a good account of themselves and been competitive. So maybe Italy needs to focus on having one team in the Pro 14, really dedicate their time to that and maybe Zebra. I don't know. I think
because I've seen Calvarsio, because they came in the previous season to Leicester, and they are top of their league. I think Zebra are a lot better than that, much better than Calvarsio, and I just don't see. And that was with our C team, and we beat them 65-5. It's like convincing it, and Zebra would take that. I think you got to try and for Italy rugby. Benetton improved slowly, but this season you've got to try and. They've got to try and, how do you say it, like find a solution, maybe go to some other legal. Because it's really not working, as you can see.
Yeah, well, it's like they played against Cardiff Blues and Josh Turnbull for Cardiff got sent off after half an hour and they still lost the game 16-6. And it was an awful game to watch. It was really bad. But still, they just couldn't capitalise. And I mean, I don't think it's good for players' development that every week when they go out, even if they're a young player getting game time, if they're losing every single game, it doesn't help. It doesn't help their confidence. Do they really want to go out there and play when they're going out and 99% of the time they're going to lose? I can't see them beating anyone in the league. Not one team. They lost against the Dragons. I can't see them beating anyone.
I think a good option could be for Zebra is send maybe go some of their players to the Championship, because that's more gonna that'll be more maybe on loan, but beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And they'll have teams that teams like Newcastle will probably better standard, and it'll be a closer game, and they'll find ways to win.
Mm.
And I see what you mean, but I think all round, I do think we'll get onto it. We'll just on this whole Italy. I think it's going to be a complete thrashing by England. I think I don't know who they're playing in was going to be the summer games. But they have some good players. Italy do, but they can't find the right system because they got Minotti, and I like that Belly and Canna.
Mm.
I see what they have. Yeah, we'll go. Who do you think will win the Six Nations?
It's hard to look past Italy. Italy, definitely not Italy. England. It's hard to look past England because obviously they got Italy. I know it's away. There's no crowd though, so it's not going to have any impact. And as you said, as we just spoken about Italy, they're just not good enough. And I 100% agree with you. I think you've hit the nail on the head. England to have an absolute thrashing. The only way I could see that Italy get anything out of this game is if they can frustrate England. If they can frustrate England in that first half and make it tough for them, because they did this one thing at the Ruck a few years ago, which worked really, really well for the first 60 odd minutes. But I just can't see them doing that again and doing it long enough and effective enough to really frustrate England.
And I don't see Smith doing I don't see Smith. They tried to, and it's clever for the opening half.
Mm.
And I don't think make sure you like and subscribe. But it just doesn't. I think they've got to try and Bamba, or not Bamba, Smith has got to try and do out masterclass. And not many coaches out masterclass Eddie Jones.
Mm. Well, the other thing with this game is that if England score early, then you're starting thinking maybe even a cricket score here. It could be 60, 70 easily. So it's important for Italy that they manage to hold England out for a little bit. If they can hold them out for the first half an hour, then that's really good going. They can go into half time with it being close. But if England score in the first 10 minutes, then they get a second in the 15th, and maybe in the 20th, they get a third. And they get the bonus point before half time. Then you're thinking Italy are getting tired. The bench comes on from England. It's strong. Yeah, I can only see England winning. I'd put £1,000 on England winning. That's how confident I would be.
I don't see any result. I think that back line is in form. Apart from I think the only thing that I think could be in this England setup, and he always performs at England. And I think I was more of a defensive guy, but I think that's only positive Italy because Ford would attack and Farrell would attack a lot more and probably score more tries because he's a much more attacking 10. But Dilson, that 12-13, he's still very attacking. With Slade at 12, he's still got the hands there.
Yeah.
I just don't. So I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see the 30 to 50 point ratio. It's going to be between them to score that, and I just don't see. I think my score will probably be 18-46.
Oh, I wouldn't give that much to Italy. I'd say 42-10.
I think they'll probably be Farrell or Slade. Slade's done this a couple of times trying to overlook the pass, and I think you'll get interception. I do think.
I think it's tough because obviously you got France against Ireland later on, which is still a big game, and it doesn't really matter what happens with this game as long as Ireland can match that, or France. I can't remember which one, but you have to think that if England put 30, 40 points on Italy, you can't imagine France or Ireland doing the same to each other. So I think England will know that they've got a little bit more freedom in this game. If they can wrap the game up by half time, they'll just look to keep adding the score on and on and on and on and on. So it should be an entertaining game. England should go and try and get lots of tries, but hopefully they don't just go for the driving maul all the time and add points and everything. Hopefully they look to play.
I do think, especially with this, I would hopefully we get to see some young players like Lawrence and Frawley. That I'm a big fan of Ollie, as I said early on in the stream. I think I want Ollie Lawrence to maybe play instead of Joseph and me slated 13 because I really want to see how he does in that international level. But on the whole, I think it'll be a very easy, controlling win, and I think they'll probably go for more and they'll attack from there, a bit like Wasp. They'll attack from there. But I want to see. Unfortunately, we don't get to see him. But I want to see Jacob in Manga maybe, but he clearly Eddie Jones has not picked him.
Yeah, I think this game will be done by the 60th minute, and given opportunity to players off the bench, and rack up a cricket score possibly.
When you got Ben out and people like Ellis Genge come off, two massive ball carriers, could change the game and just make them more tired. But on the whole, really good. Thanks for coming on the channel, Brandon.
Absolutely, I've enjoyed it. Definitely have to get you on my channel at some point. And anyone who's watching now, definitely subscribe to this channel because it's a brilliant channel, up and coming, making fantastic rugby content. So definitely check him out, and he'll be on my channel very soon. But I've really enjoyed being on.
Okay, bye.